Good afternoon, welcome back. I'm out in the garage. It is freezing cold out here. It is 28 degrees Fahrenheit. I was hoping to get the rest of the engine finished up today, get the exhaust mounted, get the intake and the header bolted on, get the alternator on, but it is just too cold this weekend. I was really hoping this was going to be the final part to this series. If you missed the rest of the series, let me show you what we've been doing so far. So we are really close to having this all finished up. Definitely something that we could do in a day if it was warmer out here. But we also made a pretty cool trip this morning while it was even colder out to visit Justin Laffoon at EV Solutions. And we made some offset washers that get used to mount the intake and the header on because the flanges are different thicknesses. There is a couple companies that make these, but getting ones in the right offset that I wanted was a little tricky. And it's always just fun visiting a machine shop, getting custom parts made. So looks just like a washer. It's kind of thick, but it has a stepped flange in it. That way it'll work with the two different thickness flanges on the car. I always recommend going to a machine shop or fabrication shops if you can, and just seeing the time and the work and the effort that goes into making things like these. You might think, oh, that's simple, you should be able to make that for like 20 cents. Well, there's the cost of material, but then there's the time to, design something like this, machine the offset, deburr it, which I still need to do, and put kind of a nice finish on it. It takes time to do that stuff. These are not any cheaper than the ones I could buy online. You cannot really do it that much cheaper when you consider what it takes to get to an actual finished product. So anytime you think, oh, I could probably make one of those cheaper, you probably can't unless you have the scrap material and the equipment. It's going to at least cost you time, and you got to weigh how much is your time worth with some of these things. But this was cool, and it's just fun visiting Justin. Let's take a look at what all went into making these so far. Justin Laffoon has a pretty sweet shop out here. Bunch of cool equipment in there. He's got a bunch of other really neat projects going on in here. We'll look at some of that another time. Kind of wants the shop cleaned up before we looked too much stuff, but we're picking out some material here. We're making some little stepped washers to mount the intake and exhaust manifolds on the Volvo. So he's got some stainless steel loaded up on the water jet here and getting some stuff plugged in, and then we'll machine them down, getting things loaded up now and get them cut out.
I think I'll put them right here, do a row of them. Yeah.
I asked Justin if we can cut it out with it not submerged in water so that we can see it happening. Otherwise, normally he would have everything submerged. Can't really see it. It's a little quieter, a little cleaner, but see if we can get some footage of it going. So while those are getting cut out over there, I'm gonna have Justin tell us a little bit about this Model T that he is working on an electric conversion for. That's one of the things that I didn't clarify. What does EV Solutions do? Well, he's working on fabricating bolt-in electric conversion kits for classic cars like this. This one's gonna be cool because it's retaining the factory drivetrain, so you can still have all of that, but you can also run it on electric so you're not wearing out some of those hard to find parts.
This is all designed on Fusion and bent up. So it's cut on that water jet and bent with that CNC press brake over there. And it's a bolt-in cross member, so no drilling, no welding. This contains the charger, the motor controller, the contactors, the battery management system, and a cooling fan all inside of it. Utilizes the original brake mechanism, and then creates a new suspension because you lose the torque tube. We get new radius arms with stainless steel Ride-Tech Heim joints that are no grease, all stainless, Delrin bushings that self-tighten with spring washers, so no rattle, just long life pivot point. Single adjustment, so you don't have to take things apart to turn them. You just reach in here, you loosen the one bolt, and then you can, one wrench, make adjustments to the suspension. 3D printed these before we machine them, just to make sure we like the design. And then a 2-speed electric axle, full floating with mechanical brakes. And then the same style radius arms for the front suspension will be up there with the shorter. So it retains the original leaf spring pack and the shackles and everything, so it's just a bolt-in electric conversion, 75 horsepower, 2-speed.
And what year of the Model T?
1914.
1914 Model T. You have your own.
1926 Model T, yep.
Have you done any conversion to it yet?
I've started building the axle, so it's a four-wheel drive front axle with the turning component. And same thing, unbolt the front mono beam just like this. In fact, it's got the same axle in the front. So you unbolt that, and you'll bolt in the cross member with that axle and its radius arms, and then it'll be a front-wheel drive assist, so you can keep the original powertrain in there. And have a 2-speed, 75 horsepower electric front axle, so you can drive around for 8 days and not even have to start the engine. And it all bolts in. So.
Another thing that I forgot to mention is Justin's the one that made the ignition coil bracket. So I designed it for him, sent it, he cut it out on the water jet there. Then he's also got a couple of bending brakes, this really huge, massive one. And then another CNC automated one where it can actually execute specific angles and hit it for you.
over and I took the lead acids that were obviously completely done. I threw a Honda Odyssey hybrid battery that I just had on the bench on there just so I could use the motor to drive it in the back of the truck up the ramps. So I just hooked it up quickly, turned it on, and drove it right in the back of the truck. After sitting there for 15 years, you know, no gas, nothing to jack with, the electric motor didn't care.
So, Justin, you were just saying that this is one of your first EV projects.
Correct.
The snowblower, and it was sitting for how long
15
in
years.
storage now? 15 years in storage.
2 years out in the elements.
And he just got it out and getting it going again.
Yep. So, and after sitting that long, just throwing a battery on it, it turned on and functioned. The electric motor's just so simple with 2 bearings in it. Just easy.
Electric stuff's kind of nice.
15 horsepower. It was originally a 5-horse. Thing rips.
So I'm back here. I'm going to swap out the media in my polisher. I'm going to deburr these a little bit and then toss them in and get them cleaned up and finished looking. I think that's going to be it. Like I said, it's just too cold out here. So that's going to run for a few hours. A little bit shorter than I was planning, but hopefully you still found this interesting. We'll be back on this next weekend. We'll get this thing buttoned up and get it ready to fire. But like I mentioned last time, we're not going to fire it until it's warmer outside, just to avoid dealing with cold start stuff while trying to crank it and break things in and all of that. Thanks for bearing with me and a little change in direction for this week. I appreciate you watching. Please like the video, comment below anything that you thought was cool or anything that you want to see more of, and subscribe to the channel. The subscriptions really help a lot. But again, I just appreciate you watching. We'll see you next time.